age, gender, race. Here are some things that you should have as your biodata on your CV or resume. Fam, hello corner mates, welcome to another exciting episode here at Zini's Corner. If you're just seeing this face for the first time, my name is Ezine. Here on this channel, I often talk about personal and career development plus edutainment topics in between. Essentially on this channel, you can expect to see videos, content, uploads that help you level up in both your personal and in your career development goals. And you have fun while at it. So if you are just stopping by this channel for the first time, please consider hitting that subscription button, turning on my notification, and of course, liking, sharing your comments, and just being a part of the community generally. This way, you help the community grow. Now, on today's episode, I am going to be talking about what your biodata on your CV or resume should look like. But before I continue, let me take a moment to say thank you to my existing subscribers, because you guys are the reason why I do what I do. Thank you for your support and I sincerely appreciate it. Please continue to support my videos, watch, share to your friends and family members, and of course, you know how we do it. It's all about leveling up. Now, moving on to the topic of today, what your biodata should look like on your CV or resume. So I've actually gotten a couple of questions. Some people have asked in the past, should I put this? Should I put that? Should I put my gender? Should I put X, Y, Z? Just different things on my biodata. So expect to learn all the right things you should put on your CV or your resume biodata from this video. So first thing that should be on your CV or your resume biodata, of course, your name. The first thing that you should have on your biodata is your name. Now, for name, I would advise that you should keep your name as low as 3 names. Your last name, first and middle name. Now, of course, I'm aware that some people have 4, 5 names and all of that, but it's advisable to keep your name, to limit it to just 3 names: your last name, your first name, and your last name, first name, and your middle name. Of course, you might ask, why is that? I have 4 names, I have 5 names, and all of that. So your CV or your resume is not the place to have 10 names. Limit it to 3. And here is why. Because essentially, when you submit your CV, the ATS or whatever software that is being used to scan that CV is oftentimes programmed to just pick 3 names. If you notice, when you're filling an application online, you will see first name, last name, and middle name, just 3. So imagine you're having 5 names on your CV. It doesn't make sense. It's just going to scatter or mumble up everywhere. So my advice would be limit your name, the name on your biodata, to just 3. If you can, keep it at 2. Example, your last name, first name, and then maybe an initials. But if you must have, ensure that you keep it at 3. Okay. Now, the second thing that should be on your biodata, it's your contact, starting from, of course, your phone number. Now, if you're putting your phone number on your email, for the sake of people who apply for international jobs, I would advise that you start with your country code. For example, if you're applying from the US or Canada, you should start with +1 and then, of course, your number. If you're applying from, let's say, a country like Nigeria, you should start with +2, 3, 4. So always start your phone number with your country code. Keep it that way. That is the standard way of reporting numbers on any formal document. Start with your country code and the rest of your number. That way, whatever or wherever you're submitting it, it's easy for them to just copy and maybe contact the person. Sometimes some people will do 080 or whatever their local dialing code is. No, I mean, why that is good, it's not, nobody's going to penalize you, but just for the sake of keeping everything as professional as possible, start with your dialing, your international or your country's dialing code. That would help make things easier. All right. Now let's move on to the next thing that should be on your biodata, the email address. Very important. Now, in my previous video, I've talked about what kind of email addresses you should be having on your resume or on your CV. Professional email address. You can't be having funny email address. I mean, you should go and watch that video if you need to see some do's and don'ts of CVs, things that can actually disqualify you. It's on my channel. Find it and watch it. You will learn a lot from that particular video. Now, On the email address, when you put an email address on a document, if that email address is properly written, oftentimes or most times it would highlight, the document would highlight, automatically highlight that email address. For example, your name is John dot james at gmail.com or at yahoo.com. As long as the .com, the domain name, and the last .com is properly spelled, it would highlight, it will be highlighted in a blue way. So that way you know that you properly you've properly spelled that email address on your resume. Now, the last one, last but not the least, that should be address. Now let's talk about address. Address is actually a very crucial thing that you should be reporting on your CV and or your resume. So if you want to report your address, I see a lot of people, they put their entire address. No, don't do that. Of course, safe generally to have your entire address on your CV. So this is the right way to report your address on your CV, your state and your country. So for example, you live in Toronto, Canada, just put Ontario, Canada, or you can just say Toronto, Ontario, Canada, or Lagos, Nigeria. And then, but if you want to take it maybe a notch higher, you can put maybe your area, your city, Sulere, Lagos, Nigeria. But it's not necessary for you to put house number, XYZ, street number. No, just for security purposes, please delete that from your biodata. It's enough to just have your city, your state or province or whatever you call it in your country, and then your country. That's enough. So that's that for your address. And why is it important to have address on your biodata? The hiring managers or the whoever that is that is recruiting, excuse me, would want to know that the candidates that they are shortlisting are within the vicinity or the area which the role requires. Maybe it's not a remote role; it's it's an in-office role. So it's important to. That's why it's important to have your location on your CV. Now, a little bit of should I call it hack? If you're applying for a job, and let's say the job is not a remote role, it's an in-office role, and you don't live in that state. Perhaps maybe you have that, you have it in mind that if I get this job, I'm going to move to that state or whatever. It is in your best interest that you edit your CV and put that place as your location. You get it, right? So it is in your best interest that you edit your CV and put that look. Let me give you an example. You're applying for a job in Tokyo. Let's say you live in Japan and the job is in Tokyo, but you don't live in Tokyo, but you have it in mind, or you want to move to Tokyo. If you're applying for that job, it's reasonable for you to edit your location and put Tokyo. So in summary, what I'm just saying in essence is, if you're applying for a job and it's not a remote job, it's reasonable, or it will benefit you more to edit your CV and use that location where the job is residing. So that way you are not disqualified because of location. Okay? Thank me later. You see, that is why if you're watching this video and you have not subscribed, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel, because here on this channel I will be giving you all the cheats code. Okay, I mean, it's not really it's a cheat code, but yeah, things that would help you succeed in both your personal and your career development goals. Now, the last one, last but not least, this is actually the last one. What should be on your biodata? A link. Now, this is where you put your LinkedIn, your portfolio. So if you have a portfolio, maybe you are a designer, you're whatever, you have a website, a professional website of your own, or whatever online presence that you have, this is where you should put your URL. Sometimes it should be, for people who just have LinkedIn, it's okay. You put LinkedIn and you attach your URL. Now, there's something I need to tell you. If you're, when you are putting most documents, Microsoft Word, Google Word, you can actually attach a link. When you look up, you will see where it says insert link. When you click on that, insert the link there and save. That way, your link on your CV is clickable. So for PDF files, remember, again, in my previous video, I spoke about how to always save your CV. If you want to learn that, please find the video. And the video is actually, I'll attach the video to this particular one. Just click on it and watch it. Now back to what I was saying. If you're going to put your URL on your CV, ensure that your URL is clickable. Why? Because that way it's easier for your hiring manager or whoever that is reviewing that CV to just simply click on your portfolio, your LinkedIn, or whatever it is that you have there, and it automatically redirects them to that place. So if you're not going to put a clickable link on your CV, then there's absolutely no need for that link to be there. Tip number 2, when you're putting a link on your CV, ensure that it's the hyperlink. What is a hyperlink? Hyperlink is actually your link, but a shortened version of it. That way, it's neater, it's more presentable on your CV. So if you, let's say it's a LinkedIn link, and you go to your LinkedIn link, if you don't hyperlink it, it's going to appear, it's going to appear very messy. It will appear very long. You see something like, your name, LinkedIn, ABCD. It's going to be very long and messy. So if you want it to appear in a very presentable way, you hyperlink it. How do you hyperlink? When you copy a URL, right click rather. When you right click it, you will see where it says hyperlink. Click on the hyperlink and copy that particular link that it shows you as hyperlink. So that is the hyperlink for whatever URL it is that you are trying to hyperlink. So I recommend that you always use that hyperlink because it's actually neater and a shortened version of whatever link you're trying to report on your CV. All right. So guys, that is all you have to have on your biodata for your CV or resume. Now, what shouldn't you have? Put your age. Your village people is not doing you. Don't put your gender, no religion. There's no need. Don't put your sexuality. It's not necessary. Except the job specifically says, people of XYZ gender should apply or whatever. But even at that, except it specifically asks you, the job ad says certain people should apply, then in that case, you might want to report whatever thing that is not in this list of things that should be on your biodata. But outside that, please do not have your age, do not have your religion, do not have your race, do not have those things on your biodata. They are absolutely unnecessary. All right, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have learned something new from this video. And like I said, please help me get my first 1,000 subscribers. If you're watching this video today and you have not subscribed to my channel, please consider clicking, subscribing, liking, and very important, let me know what you think, guys. Are these things enough to be on your biodata, or do you think there is something else that should be on biodatas for CVs or resume? And now I'm going to leave you with this. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you again in my next video. Peace and light.